I don't really fall for this Kojima being a god and stuff, but damn can he make a good experience. I say experience because as a game, this really ain't it, chief. At best, and this is best case scenario, the gameplay is a 4 out of 10. Best case scenario. Everything you've read and heard is true. It's mostly just a walking simulator. But believe it or not, as much as I hate to say it, I've never had so much fun just walking in a video game before. Couldn't even tell you why. It never got boring for me. Never got annoyed at it. It was a pleasant break from first-person shooter games, I guess. That's the only reason I could think of. It's a shame the gameplay is lackluster because the bosses and main enemies, visually and creatively, are in my opinion the coolest looking bosses, if not definitely up there for this console generation. But that's just my opinion, of course. It could vary. It doesn't help that the AI is literally trash, especially the human AI. Easy to exploit and avoid. Makes the combat sections really unfulfilling, for lack of a better word. Especially those boss sections where you are finally encouraged to use guns against war soldiers. The gunplay isn't much to talk about either. I'm not even gonna say any more about it, it's that dismissive. All I'm gonna say about it is, it's a problem when the melee combat feels so much better than the gunplay, in my opinion anyways. Where Death Stranding shines is in its world. The traversal and exploration. Traversing the world is the best part of the game. Going to a new area and figuring out how you're going to get from point A to B, plotting and planning your route around hazardous areas with enemies or poor terrain. With poor planning, you can find yourself stuck in BT areas and fighting BTs with cargo, which is able to be damaged or destroyed. And you being evaluated on the condition of the cargo, proper planning is important, but sometimes it doesn't help, and it's out of your hand. You'll be forced to go through BT areas or mule areas, which are the human NPCs. This traversal experience is boosted by the genius multiplayer system, which is taken from Dark Souls, but cranked to 11. Finding used vehicles all the real-world players left, ladders, ropes, zip lines, bridges, etc., especially when you need them the most, is pure relief and bliss. It made me feel happy to see a path already laid out by another player who left behind ladders or helpful equipment along their way, making my job and delivery easier, which gave me a better score for my delivery. The story and journey make up for the gameplay, if you're willing to stick with it. At first, it's not going to make sense. Actually, it may not make sense for most people till the end. Everything is answered in some way, shape, or form in the end, like why some characters are named Die Hardman or Deadman. Hell, even a name like Cliff, Mads Mikkelsen's character, has a meaning to it in the grand scheme of the story. Kojima may actually be a genius for making this story actually work. He somehow created a story that tries to teach the lesson from how we are disconnected from each other, from Brexit to tension here in the United States. It's not hard to see as a species. We're very much disconnected from one another, even though we're more connected than we've ever been in history. Not sure what to consider really. It's more a movie and cinema than it is a video game. That's proven by directors of film like George Miller, giving it praise, and avid gamers not fond of it. I don't believe it's some new genre like Kojima believes it to be. I think it's just further proof that games are becoming the next step in the entertainment medium. More and more games are becoming more cinematic as the years pass. More and more big name actors are in games as well now. Freaking Forrest Whitaker is in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and this game is no slouch either. Norman Reedus, Guillermo del Toro, and many more like Mads Mikkelsen are present and are casted in this game. It's just a matter of time before services like Netflix will be having games on them, and with Google Stadia on the horizon, the gears are already rolling. My personal thoughts for this game are, it's damn good. The best I've played in a while. I still have trouble recommending it because of the preconceived notion we all have of games. If you go in thinking, oh, it's Kojima, he made Metal Gear, you'll probably be disappointed. This isn't a traditional anything really. If you're not willing to experience something wild, but are getting it only because of past titles under his belt, I'm not sure you'll like it at all. Like I said, definitely the best experience I've had in a while. I don't have a favorite game, but if I had to choose one, it'd be the recent God of War. As a game, it's leagues ahead of Death Stranding. Way more complete as a game, you know, in the traditional sense. But as an experience, Death Stranding is leagues ahead of God of War, and that's a problem I have. Experience varies from person to person. It's easy to recommend a good game with good gameplay like God of War, because everyone likes a good game with good gameplay. It's hard to recommend a game like Death Stranding because experience isn't definitive. It's nothing solid. It varies from person to person. If you want to see art and creativity turned into a video game, play Death Stranding. If you want something new, not traditional, play Death Stranding. If you're not willing to embark on something new or aren't willing to do the same task over and over again, then I can't recommend Death Stranding. You gotta go with no preconceived notions of games to actually enjoy the story and get the message of Death Stranding.